Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Reselling Rhythms. In today's live stream video, I'm going to discuss with my guest this reselling business, and he'll explain how we can make big profits selling ball and truckers caps. He'll share his tips and strategies to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. Every Wednesday I have a live stream and I normally interview another reseller and have them share their tips, tricks, and techniques to make us more knowledgeable and profitable resellers. If you're interested in becoming a reseller or you are a reseller, then you are in the right place. It's going to pop in the chat, guy, and say hello to a few people. I want to thank my moderators, Sharon and Randy, for being in the chat and assisting. Appreciate you guys being there. And I'm sure the chat will be filling in very shortly. So like I tell you all guys, in the past, I try to keep things, moving along, especially for the people that are watching the replay. So I don't want to keep them waiting. So let me get myself organized here and we shall bring in our guest and we'll have him introduce himself. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm going to put you on full screen since you're used to doing this YouTube thing.
Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. For those of you that don't know, this is Bobby, the CapGuy. And I'm going to have Bobby introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself and how he got into reselling and I call it the elevator speech. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm 6'6". I'm a cross between Kenny Rogers, Elvis, and John Wayne and Channing Tatum. No, just kidding. My name is Bobby. I live in Oklahoma. To be specific, I live in Yukon, Oklahoma, which is the home of Garth Brooks. Some of y'all probably heard of him. And but I'm from Austin, Texas. That's my home where I grew up. I've lived all over the country. Spent 35 years in the trucking industry after I got out of the Navy. And mostly in management. Lived in New York, several places in Texas, Arizona, all over the place. And about 3 years ago, I retired from UPS Freight, and I decided to go full-time. I was part-time reselling mainly jerseys and helmets, sports stuff. I know a lot about that, and I decided to go full-time. I used to be a lot bigger, and I went on keto and lost a bunch of weight, had a lot of energy, and gave up watching Dr. Phil and The Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal, and started going. I went full-time, and now I work 7 days a week. And I make good money reselling, and not just ball caps, even though that's the name of my channel. But I sell everything. I have 4,300 active listings as we speak.
That is impressive. That is more than impressive.
Anybody who resells that thinks this job is easy is I mean, the sourcing part is the fun part, but you can make great money, and I did about $99,000 last year on eBay alone. That's the only platform I'm really on. And but I put in when I say 7 days a week, I actually work 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, listing, shipping, sourcing. Although I'm on a 30-day hiatus from sourcing right now to clear my death pile, and I have a huge one. I've been listing heavily, and I'm also doing the Promoted Plus right now. Thanks to Tommy Bernard, who I see just popped in here. And my sales have just even gotten better. So I'm trying to list 20 or more a day. Some days I do 50, some days I do 100. But you got to focus and you just got to list is how we say it.
Yes, Tommy, my guest does think that promoted listings work.
Yeah.
I am the strong believer that you have to list. I'm a perfect example of that. I'm not going to get into it. You guys know I have some health issues. I'm not listing on a regular basis. And Tommy, I did exactly what you said. Due to the fact that I don't have enough listings and I'm not listing on a regular basis, that's key in my mind. Is the number one thing you have to list every day. And again, I talk about some of the other people that support me in my channel and have other reselling channels, such as Beth Reseller Rowboat. And what you can do is put draft listings in your draft folder, so you have them ready to roll out. So for whatever reason you have to work another job, or you have to have family you got to take care of, or you have to go to a doctor's appointment, whatever, you can take those drafts and make them live. So again, my understanding is, and I'm going to have Bobby talk about your promoted listings plus the 3.5%. My understanding is if you don't list, regardless of
that's right,
if you want promoted listings or not, you're not going to sell. I'll give you a perfect example. I have some, not Titleist caps. I think there are Titleist caps. But anyway, I have brand new, tags, golf caps Got them on RA at Walmart. I thought I got a good deal on them. I reached out to, again, I always talk about connections and networking, and I reached out to one of my golf selling, people that's usually in the chat, Mike Flipping Goodies, and I said, what do you think? You think I can make? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now, he sells a lot on Amazon. He also sells on Walmart. Now, I'm selling on eBay. So whether that makes a difference or not. But anyway, I tried the Promoted Plus with the 3.5%, the going rate plus 3.5%. That particular item did tick up, but my mass quantities of things such as women's jeans and remote controls and those type of things, I didn't see much of an increase as far as use at all. So again, in my mind, you have to list.
That's true. If you're not listing, it doesn't matter what you do.
Exactly.
Now, with as many listings as I have, I should have a lot more sales than I was having, which was about 8 to 10 a day. And It's not necessarily how many sales you have; it's how much you're making. And I have a goal, and you got to have goals, whether it be listing or sourcing. Or my profit goal is $150 per day, 7 days a week, and I usually attain that or more. But there are going to be days when you hit $60 or $70. That's just going to happen. And typically you're going to see that in the middle of the week. But again, it's also in what you're sourcing. And for example, my top 4 sellers in 2020, because we're in 2021 right now, where number 1 was ball caps, was my most profitable item because of the ROI in ball caps. And I'll explain that in a minute. Mm-hmm. Number 2 was plush. Number 3 was video games, which we all are pretty familiar with. And then 4 was Mary Kay makeup. A year and a half ago, I knew nothing about Mary Kay. Now I'm a pretty good expert on Mary Kay, not only medium coverage foundations, but
I don't even know what that is.
Well,
we'll get into that towards the end.
They're all different.
People here for the caps and the clutch and all the, but we'll definitely get into that. I mean, and again, this is just from my knowledge of watching a lot of YouTube resellers and whatnot. You want to sell replenishables. And makeup is a replenishable. So if you can have a contact or you have a connection where you can get replenishables, whether it be food products or makeup or whatever, replenishables are a great item to have. They sell consistently, and again, they trigger that algorithm.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you got a list. And I mean, but Tommy was talking about the other night, and he talked about doing Promoted Plus, and I wasn't a big fan because I'm already promoting at like 4%. And then when he mentioned it, I decided to try it. And the next day I did over 400 in sales and just shy of 300 in profits. So I'm like, okay. But, like everything, you got to tweak the stuff, and things that are going to sell anyway, like video games and things like that are valuable or rare items. You don't have to do that. But on some of the old, I noticed the big notice was that the older stuff that I've had in my store for a year and a half started moving out the door, and that's probably a result of doing the Promoted Plus.
Well, yeah, that's my understanding too. And you and I discussed pre-chat when we did our pre-chat. I always do a pre-chat, guys, because I tell people I have ADD, so I gotta be prepared, whatever. And we talked about that. And like you said, you got to get continual lists, you got to run promoted listings. And my understanding is, and that does help with some of your older inventory, as opposed, like you said, I'm not going to run a sale and do promoted listings. I'm going to do promoted listings instead of running a sale. And my understanding is it's worked well for some of the resellers that are doing promoted listings plus the 3% or 3.5%.
Right.
That it kind of triggers some of that sale inventory. And Tommy had said earlier in the chat about, pulling things down. And then I always thought you had to sell similar back in the day. And I tell you guys, I moderate for Casey the Rockstar Flipper. He used to always say sell similar, not relist. My understanding is now, regardless of if you relist or you sell similar, you're still going to get a new item number. So
right.
It's supposed to work the other way.
And what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. You mentioned doing drafts. I list everything with an iPhone. I do it right there in front of me, take the pictures, do the research, list it, all the specifics, and I list it on my phone. And I can do any listing in about less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, whether it's clothes or video. I take pictures on my phone. I upload them, and then I like listing on my computer. And
I used to do that when I did nothing but jerseys, and I had 400 listings.
Clothing and things like, yeah.
Right. But, like anything in any business, you're in both Tommy and I have a background at UPS, and UPS, it's a stressful situation because there's always time goals. It's a very pushy company to get the most production out of you. They're production driven.
Right.
And you're always having to adapt and change to new software, to new procedures, safety, and all of these other things. So like anything, you gotta in your business, it is your business, whether it's a retail business or an eBay online business or whatever else platform you're selling on. You got to adapt and change. You got to try new things. So if the way I was doing it was promoted listings at, say, 3%, I'd run it for a week, and then I'd notice it started to decline, and you got to pay attention to your eBay algorithm a little bit. And then I would just pull the whole store down and change it to 4%. And then a week and a half later, I'd change it to 2.5%. It almost seemed like it was just refreshing it. You can end your store and relist it, or you can do the promoted or the promoted plus. Obviously, like Tommy said the other night in his live with Tracy, his promoted plus, he's probably looking at, in excess of 20 to 30% of a percentage he's given to eBay, but it's bringing his stuff to the top of that view. And people are like, especially men, they like to, when we go to the store, we just go and get our stuff and we leave. We're not a browser.
Men are typically browsers.
Yeah. So
they want to get out. I mean, in general, I mean, some.
Yeah. And when I shop, I want to get it quick. So I'm going to find out what's at the top. I'm going to look through 4 or 5 or 6 things, and I'm going to kind of get an idea of the price. That's how I comp my stuff, but it's also how I purchase my stuff. And so you want to have your stuff at the top of that. Now, when you freshly listed, it's always going to be there for a little while, and then it's you got to start changing it up. But you got to adapt and change constantly to your environment.
You've been watching my channel. I said the same thing all the time. I haven't said this in a long time, guys. So I'm going to bring it up. Went to a local university for business, whatever. And 2 of the things they used to say in the business school was the only thing that is permanent is change.
Yes, you got to be willing.
You have to constantly adapt. I mean, and if you don't, whether it be in business or your personal life, there's going to be issues. I mean, yes. I'm not 25 years old ago. I'm not 30 years old. I'm in my 60s now. I'm not. I can't do what I did 40 years ago.
Hey, I'm 92, so
you're 92. You look good for 92.
That's because I'm fat.
Oh, all right. Okay, so you say you do what we would say 99% eBay. Do you do any?
Yeah, I do a little bit of local Facebook. Right? I don't do shipping on Facebook, and I have 1 item on Mercari. That's it. I'm strictly eBay. I don't cross post. I don't do Amazon, and I don't want to deal with the FBA and all that stuff. I just strictly do eBay, and I'm a one at a time picker. I mean, I go to a lot of yard sales, estate sales. I don't really go to Goodwill's much anymore because they've really got their prices up there. And the sourcing where I live is so good that I don't need to. We do have
you have other franchises and independents, thrift stores in your area as well. I mean, we're pretty much Goodwill and a few Salvation Armies and some odds in my area.
And we have all those too.
You have Savers and those type of places around you?
No, Savers they have those in Texas and out west.
I'm thinking. I keep thinking Texas because I know you're a Dallas fan. I keep thinking Texas in my mind.
No, here it's primarily Salvation Army, Goodwill, and there's some other mom and pop thrift stores. But I don't need the thrift stores. The yard sales and estate sales are plentiful. And in the winter, you can go to the Goodwill bins, and our Goodwill bins are some of the best that I know of. And the problem I have is I can go through and fill up my pickup truck in a day, and that's how I built a death pile, and that's to my demise.
If you buy it, you got to list it, right?
Yeah. So I went through my death pile, and I've been going through it since I haven't sourced in about a week and a half now. And I'm trying to go another 2 weeks without sourcing at all to clear it as much as I can. And I'm finding stuff in my death pile that's worth $60, $70, $100. So that's the whole thing, folks. You bought the stuff.
You did the treasure hunt. Now you're going back and buying it again. It's like a new treasure hunt.
You buried it, and now you go, hey man, I got this.
I did buy that. That's right. Yeah.
So you gotta remember that death pile, you bought it for a reason. It probably has some value.
Well, you call it a cash pile too, because you invested money into it, and that money's just sitting there. And if you don't list it, you can't sell it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you said that. So you're running the promoted sales close to 3.5%. Do you take offers at all, or do you get involved?
Yeah. I don't do best offer.
Or you do send out several times a day. You send out offers to watchers.
I typically have 100 offers available to send out, and I'll send them out if the cost of goods versus the profit, depending on the fees and stuff, is there. So if I paid $2 for it and I've got it for $99, I'll throw out a $5 or $6 offer, $10 offer, depending on how long I've had the item and what it is. If it's a rare video game, I'm not going to send out a big offer, but I'm trying to get you to bite. And yes, I do send out offers, and I I mean, I was in Hawaii recently on vacation. I sourced a little bit there, and I was sending offers while I was there because I wasn't listing. And of course, my sales suffered, but I still had 44 sales for 9 days of being gone. But it's like I said, it's one of those things. It's your business, so a lot of people that have their own retail business put in the 16-hour days. And when you're at UPS, like I was in management, you worked a lot of hours then. So I'm just used to that, and I continue to do it. I live alone, so I don't have to deal with my kids are grown, and so I can do what I want when I want. If I get tired, I want to go take a nap, I take a nap. If I want to watch a little Netflix, I do that. But typically, I'm in this.
4 o'clock in the morning, get up and
yeah.
Take pictures, list, whatever.
I watch Tommy, but of course they're on at they don't come on till midnight where I live. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm asleep when they're on. Trying to sleep. I should say asleep half the time I'm awake, but I'm trying to sleep that time of night anyway. So, why don't we get into something again? You're into some of the different niches, and like I said, I promote this mainly as caps, but I want to get into some of the other things that you specialize in. You said back in the day you did specialize in sports jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a quick aside, I always ask people this. Did you get involved in reselling somehow because of that? I mean, I know you said you retired, you were looking for something to do, but what kind of gave you the reselling bug?
Well, when I was still at UPS, when I would be out making sales calls, I would go to Goodwills and Salvation Armies. I didn't yard for them, and I wasn't actively selling on eBay a whole lot. In 2004, I think my first jersey I ever sold was a Detroit Piston jersey that I found, and that was, I think it was Hill or somebody, I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody on the Pistons.
Okay.
That was my first jersey ever. And then I learned a lot about jerseys. Of course, your Champions and your Mitchell and Ness and all the ones that you get good money for. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer. Surprisingly, what I found over that time was that hockey jerseys were the most valuable jerseys, although I think baseball are the nicest jerseys, but they're the worst sellers. Football and basketball.
I wasn't aware of that. So baseball is the worst or the worst seller.
They just don't.
And you sell nationally, so you would know. It's not like you're just selling regionally.
Yeah, I mean, I sold a lot of them, and I have a pretty good collection of my own. Of course, I'm a Cowboys fan and a Longhorn and a Thunder fan and a Rangers fan to my demise. But I have my own collection, but I also would sell them. And your NBA champion ones are the ones that are going to make you some really good money. But Mitchell and Ness is a good brand to find. Vintage Nike. But hockey jerseys were stuff that when you found it, those seemed to always go. Even the ones they used to give away at the local CHL. We had an Edmonton Oilers CHL team here, the Blazers, and then the giveaway jersey that they give away. I'd find those in thrift stores and sell them for $20, and they were giveaways that you'd pay $3 at Goodwill and sell them for $20. So they weren't the authentic jerseys like Bobby Hull or something, but. There's just so much money, and what I tell everybody, when you're new to this, you need to comp a lot of stuff until you learn.
Absolutely.
Watch other YouTubers. There's a lot of good YouTubers out there, and we all learn from each other. Nobody knows everything, and I surely don't, but I learned a lot, and I'm not a great YouTuber. I do have a channel, and I do lives every Wednesday with Angie Resells. We rotate, although we're not going to have ours tonight. She's under the weather, but on mine, we play a game show, and we do guess what sold for more. We do that. That'll be next Wednesday on my channel, and I'm going to give away some concert T-shirts, some Huey Lewis and some Rascal Flatts and stuff that I've come across.
Hour of Love. I don't know why.
Hour of Love, yeah.
Information, but
you going to sing it?
I remember something that I need to know. I can't remember, but I remember stuff from 30 years ago.
You going to sing it for us?
Pardon me?
You going to sing it for us?
No.
It's
I'm not Huey Lewis. No.
You want me to have JT sing it then?
We'll get into a little bit of that later when we talk about your YouTube channel.
Ball caps are the thing that I got into probably just 2 years ago, and just really was shocked at how much money was in ball caps, and not just in the value, but the ROI on a ball cap is where you make your money. My number one seller again in 2020 was ball caps. I made over $5,400 in sales on ball caps. Typically at a yard sale or even at a Goodwill, you're going to get them for under $2 a piece. So if you buy a bunch of old vintage ball caps at an estate sale, for example, I'm a big bundler, so I buy them all. And then the ones that are just not any good or don't have any value, I'll redonate them or throw them away. But it's amazing when you find a ball cap, and this is a corduroy ball cap that I recently got on eBay because I worked for overnight transportation before UPS bought us. They're based in Richmond, Virginia. But Union Pacific owned us, and I'd never seen this ball cap before. And I joined them in 98, and I saw this ball cap, and I thought, man, I got to have that. I mean, I have my own collection, obviously. But these are the caps you want to look for mainly. Now, this is the group Alabama. I got this from Commonwealth Picker / Flipper Kevin. I paid $50 for it. I've already turned down $80 offers on it because, one, it's the only one on eBay that's like this. Now, there are other Alabama hats, but no three-stripers. So when you see a three-striper ball cap on both sides in the wild, and it's a snapback, which is the plastic snap, you definitely want to grab those. I don't care what's on the front of it. Could be, I've got one that says Kettle Restaurant. There are some that say Pepsi Cola or Harley Davidson or U.S. Marine Corps, or they're worth $1,500 to $2,000, and they're used. The other thing you want to look for in old ball caps, not necessarily three-stripers, but in the step here, if it says K Products or K Brand or Louisville Manufacturing, which usually be something like Red Man Tobacco or Kodiak Tobacco, John Deere, Goodyear, those are going to be highly valuable, $100, $200 ball caps. So sports caps as well. Sports specialties are pretty good ones to grab, Logo, Athletic. But definitely the three stripers are probably your most valuable ball caps that are out there that are used. That, like I said, there's some Pepsi ones I just saw recently sold for $2,000 plus used.
I had asked you before, and I'm still, in my mind, I'm still a little confused about these three stripers. You said it's not a brand, correct? Three stripers, not.
No, they're all different brands. They could be Samsung or Nissan or Yapung.
Okay.
But the three stripes are vintage. Whoops, I'm trying to get this camera thing. And each one's going to have they'll have three stripes on either side, and they could all be the same color. It's just what's on the front of it, the condition of the cap. Obviously, if the brim's broke or the snap's broke, that devalues it. But I just recently sold for $60 a ball cap with the broken snap and a broken bill. Wow. So, people on eBay buy their memories. So if you worked for like this company and this is a three-stripe cap, I bought this because it was a memory of my company.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so Titleist, you mentioned that earlier, Titleist ball caps, even used, they're going to go for $15, $18. If you paid $1 or $2 at a yard sale, the ROI on that's fantastic. Unlike a video game where you may pay $6 or $7 and flip it for $15, there are rare video games, and I sell tons of them. I have thousands of them. But when you see stuff like this, and I got this from a estate sale from an NBC executive that passed away, I'm keeping this because it's just so cool.
Yes.
And that's the problem with resellers is we like to keep stuff.
You're a hoarder.
I'm a hoarder.
You call it a collector, but I call it a hoarder.
I have probably 150 caps in my own personal collection, but the ones that are of value, that Alabama hat, I have it on eBay for $149.
Yeah, Alabama fans are fanatical. So
yeah, and I'm not a big Alabama fan. I never was.
That's perfect for you to sell it there. You can make a lot of money, and you're not attached to it. So right.
And like I said, I bought it from Kevin, Commonwealth Flipper, but I've already turned down an offer on it because I just know that the value of that hat's better than $80.
Absolutely.
So again, that's not the only thing I sell. I sell a lot of different items, but ball caps, I can't stress enough. When you go to yard sales, usually people are going to ask, hey, you got any video games? And I follow some video game channels that do a lot of that. But people walk past the plush and the ball caps, and there's some plush out there. I just sold a Five Nights at Freddy's for $165, again, used.
What is it now?
Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a themed plush. It was a golden bear. Paid $1 at a yard sale and sold it for $164.99.
Who'd have thunk it? Wow.
Anything Mario, Sonic, Pokemon, especially, and this was only 5 years old. It wasn't vintage, but again, that's why you comp and you learn and you watch other people that are into those themes. Because I'm not a Pokemon guy. I'm old. I don't. Right, there's nothing out there that says Leave It to Beaver and plush that I'm going to get, and that was my show when I was a kid. So, stuff like this, like I said, you're going to see it. And you're going to sell it, and a lot of times you're going to sell it for $15, $20. That's I probably would say on average. But any ball cap, just about any ball cap, you're going to get at least $10 for. And if you paid a quarter, 50 cents for it, that's a good profit.
So your rule of thumb, when I mean, obviously you're the expert when it comes to ball caps. You can just go through a rack, boom, 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 boom. But when I'm looking, or people in the chat are looking, and you're saying $2 at a thrift store, I've seen them for quite a bit more than that. I mean, maybe it's just my area. I don't know.
Yeah. Our Goodwill's $232, but I go on Old Man Discount Day, which if I do go, and I don't go anymore, but it's 15% off because I'm over 55.
Gotcha.
And so you get that. But again, if that ball cap, that ball cap's worth $20 or $30, I'll pay $232 for a ball cap. I mean,
now while we're on ball caps, it's just stuff that's popping in my mind. Snapbacks as opposed to strapbacks as opposed to fitted. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about that? I mean, I'm sure it varies from.
Well, I mean, some of these, like on your Ralph Lauren polos and stuff, you're going to get leather straps, or it could be a cloth strap like this one, and they'll have a buckle, or they'll just snap in, or they have Velcro, which don't mention that in your title on eBay.
No, that's a weird item on eBay.
But that's one style of hat, and again, Ralph Lauren polos with leather straps are valuable hats too. Ralph Lauren hats with the bear on the front, whether he's a hockey player or something else, those are good money. So again, my suggestion when you want to learn about ball caps, I have done videos on valuable ball caps and how to clean ball caps, especially if they're deteriorated inside with the foam and stuff like that. Or cleaning a ball cap, you never want to put it in the washer or even in your dishwasher. Wash it by hand, especially the brittle ones. Especially the brittle ones. But typically, again, ball caps, snapbacks just means it's a plastic snap that snaps in. That's why it's called a snapback. And trucker, because it's just the implication that truckers wear ball caps.
Right.
And so that's how you describe vintage, trucker snapback cap, just to get that keyword in your title to grab the attention of those people looking for it. But people are really looking for their memories. So companies they've worked for,
right.
Memories of maybe their grandfather. It's a fishing hat. I just sold this one today. If it flies, it dies. And I paid $0.25 at a yard sale for it, and I sold it for $16, nothing, or $13.90, nothing crazy. But when I saw it, it was
that's kind of a hunting camo.
Yeah, it's a hunting camo hat. So again, $0.25 into $13.90, I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's a hell of ROI.
Yeah. Plus shipping. I don't do much free shipping.
Yeah, I was going to talk today, but I think we talked before, and you said you didn't do free shipping, so I didn't bring that up. So,
and again, I don't know everything. What I suggest is when you're looking at ball caps or anything else you want to get into, get on eBay, do the filters, look for the high value. So when you look up ball caps, start it at $50 or $100 and higher, solds, used, and then it'll bring up what's sold, and you can kind of get an idea of what you're looking for. That's another way to learn is that's how when you look at the three stripers, I just type in 3-stripe snapback caps and then filter it at $100 or more, and you can see the value of those hats. And when you see a $1,500 3-stripe Harley Davidson ball cap, and then you spot it in the wild out there yard selling, you're going to tackle everybody in front of you to get to it.
Again, that's a pro tip, and again, sometimes we get away from things that have worked for us in the past. And I remember when I first got involved in watching YouTube reseller videos, that was one of the things that was recommended by some of the better resellers. If you're watching, I don't watch much TV anymore, but if you're watching TV or watching YouTube or whatever, you can always have your smartphone open or your tablet open, and you got to be on the eBay app. And like you said, do the search, highest price, whatever, and just go say whatever category you're selling. This is related to caps, but
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe you sell glass. I don't know what to say, but caps. Like I said, do your research, find out what the highest or video games.
Yeah,
video games. See what the top selling video games are. So when you're out in the wild, I mean, obviously you want to do your research and your due diligence, but you'll know what away. Boom, that's a hot seller. You grab it before the other resellers grab it.
When I walk up to a yard sale, I engage everybody every day. I'm out at 6:30 in the morning.
I'm all the time. I said it all the time.
You got to be first, and you got to be engaging. The more friendly you are with people, and I'm an extrovert, as you can probably tell. I'm going to say hi to everybody. How's your morning? The more friendly you are, maybe the better deal you may get, and it's not just for that reason. It's just to be friendly. We're in a time right now when that's not always the case.
Build that quasi relationship before you approach them and say, "Oh, if I buy this, that, and this, the other." Can you give me a price? You've already said hello to him. You're already striking up a conversation with him. So maybe that might just be enough to push him over and say, yeah, I'll give this guy's a nice guy. I'll give him a deal.
If you saw me at a yard sale, you would hear the repeat of, do you have any ball caps or video games? And if I buy, how much for all of it if I want to buy it all? I bundle constantly. I want it all.
Guys, not to interrupt Bob, but if you don't bundle, you're missing out.
Yeah. And you're going to get a better deal usually.
And if you don't ask, you don't get.
Always ask.
Not on the show all the time. If you don't set it at a high price, you're not going to get that high price. You can always lower it.
Right.
If you don't ask for that discount, you're not going to get the discount.
I would say 2 out of the 10 yard sales.
At least in my mind, but you can always ask.
2 out of the 10 yard sales where I ask if they have ball caps or video games and they're not out there where I can see them, they go in the house and bring them out. And so I've scored so much doing that. And again, I watch one channel, Chase After the Right Price. He's big into cards and video games. He does a lot of that, and he's a lot younger than I am. But, you just got to ask. And if you don't ask, you're not going to know. And I had one just recently where they said they didn't have any video games. I was looking at some Nike shoes, and the mother and daughter were trying to figure out what this cord was laying on the table. And as soon as I saw it, I said, well, that's an Xbox 360 cord. She goes, oh, well, I'm going to take it back in the house. And I said, well, you don't have any video games? She goes, no. And the daughter goes, well, I do, if you have a minute, but it's older stuff like Super Nintendo. I was like, oh, really? I mean, when you go from, PS4, you go Super Nintendo, I go, oh, really? So
from not having any video games, all of a sudden you might get, yeah.
She says, you have a couple of minutes? She runs down the street, comes back with a Super Nintendo and about 12 games. She says, I don't even know how much to ask. And I said, would you take 40 for all of it? She said, yes, and I did. And so, normally I don't make the first offer. I let them do that. But in this case, I knew that she didn't know what she had.
Yeah, and again, you guys, be fair. Obviously you don't want to hurt yourself, but be
right.
fair. I mean, if it's worth $300, don't offer the person $20.
Right. And there were only 2 games in there that were worth about $30. They were mostly like golf and Madden and stuff. Right, but the Nintendo alone, if you put a game with it, it's probably a $90, $100 deal. But that's my negative is I have every video game console with the exception of Dreamcast, and most of them are behind me. I have them all. I've got the 5, I've got the X, I've got them all. And I don't play video games. But I have to test the video games. I do collect GameCube just because I like the games.
Right.
And I've got some really high-end, video games of GameCube. But I've got thousands. And if you just watched my video a couple days ago, I showed my inventory room and my death pile about a week ago. And in my bedroom, I'm getting some shelving this weekend because I've probably got 2,000 video games in there that are listed. And I've probably got 1,000 behind me that aren't listed because I constantly source video games. And not all of them are valuable, but video games, of course, then you got to deal with, are they clean? And I've got a JFJ Pro.
You read my mind. I don't have one because I don't really know video games.
Right. But I learn every day. Again, and you want to buy the
Casey the Rockstar JFJ video cleaner, right?
Yeah, PS3s and PS4s, Xbox Ones, those are all going to be good games. They rarely get scratched. Okay. You're going to have to deal with that when you deal with the Wiis and the PS2s and PS1.
You said it really gets scratched?
PS3 is one of my favorite games to source just because it typically does not scratch. You don't see scratches all over it like you do a PS2 or a PS1 or a Wii or an Xbox 360 game. Okay. Xbox Ones and PS4s are relatively new, so they don't seem to get scratched.
Gotcha.
And then cartridge games, you got to test and make sure they're not fake. And hello, Angie. And so, yeah, I mean, you just got to learn. And Wii's, you got to be careful cleaning because you could erase the information on them. And
really?
So on and so forth. Yeah, if you clean them too hard. Lonnie Shed Flips bought a really nice one, a $1,500 one. I have the $190 one, which is messy, but it does the job, and that's what I needed to do. Again, I buy so many. Typically, when I buy them, I'm going to make probably $1,000 if I spend $150 on a bunch of games.
I mean, if you're specializing in video games, I mean, it's a no-brainer to buy something like that. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
My problem is consoles. I hate dealing with consoles, and I've got Wii's and Super Nintendos coming out my ears, and I just hate testing them and messing with them to my detriment. So maybe one of these days I'll just box them all up and ship them somewhere. I mean, I know they're worth money. It's time, and I buy so much stuff that time is my enemy because I am alone and I'm doing this 7 days a week. And
again, I bring it up all the time. Time is your most valuable asset, and time is money.
Yeah.
And I used to watch it. I tell you guys, the OG, the reseller channels and prof sales was VOT, value of time.
Right.
So I just want to go back a little bit. I told you I get off sidetracked sometimes. Shipping of ball caps. Why don't you get into a little bit about that? Tell us how you ship them, any particular boxes, or
I used to
ship them. And
I used to ship them in poly bags, and I've never ever had a problem with shipping them in poly bags.
In poly bags, okay.
Yeah, but people started, YouTubers mainly, people that follow my channel, were like, "Oh heck no, I would never do that." So now I ship them in an 8x6x4 box.
That's what I was going, right? The boxes, yeah.
And, I mean, again, you're paying the shipping anyway. I don't do free shipping on ball caps.
The customer's paying for it anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it costs to buy the boxes, but it's a write-off if you're, and I have to pay my taxes like everybody else. But I do use 8x6x4s. I don't use poly bags anymore. But when I was using them, I never had a problem because I'd always fill it with bubble wrap and stuff to keep the form of the top of the cap together. But, there are people out there that would say if I got a ball cap in a poly bag, I'd refuse it and give you negative feedback. But, like I said, I do ship them in 8x6x4s now.
And guys, and I feel like I'm like a broken record. I keep repeating the same things over and over again. Bobby talking about shipping. Again, I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm just going to bring it up because it's something that happened to me personally. Received a watercolor painting.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it was shipped in a poly bag with 2 pieces of a priority box. I don't know if it was recycled. I don't know if it was, they just cut up the priority box and a little plastic bag. It was damaged. It wasn't damaged like severely, but the corners were bent. Guys, under promise, over deliver. Wasn't a lot of money, but it's the principle. It's like, I was all excited about getting this piece, and it was hand painted, and I get it's like, oh, this is not going to end well. I could see the way it was shipped.
Yeah.
This is not going to end well. And the corner was bent, and it was wrinkled a little bit. It's like, seriously? I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but it's like I was so looking forward to getting this, and, and that's how it was shipped to me. So, again,
I used to
yourself as the buyer. How would you want to receive something?
I used to tell my guys on my freight dock when I was a TM, treat the product like it was your household goods. Would you treat your household goods this way if you were moving them? Because your wife wouldn't let you, first of all. But treat it like it's your stuff, and it'll get there. Because the purpose of the boxes or the pallets or whatever it is you're shipping by is to get it there damage-free and intact the way it came. The box's purpose is to protect the contents, but you got to give it a chance. And people don't understand, if you've ever been to a freight hub or a air hub. When I was with Emery and Purelator,
you did it for a lot of years, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you see how many packages come in on hundreds of aircraft come in and rotate, unload and reload at these air hubs in about a 4-hour window, how fast they're moving packages, whether it's down an automated feeder system or by hand, people are moving packages. And I went to the Dayton hub with Emery Worldwide when I was with Emery and Purelator when I was younger, and was amazed at how fast they could turn 100 aircraft. If you've ever seen the movie Field of Dreams, we were at the hub and we flew in and we got there around midnight, and all these people coming from Dayton and surrounding communities. And it was like the movie when at the end where all the cars are coming in.
Yeah, they just had it on recently. I don't have cable, so I didn't see it, but they recreated a Field of Dreams game. Yeah.
Well, they're all college kids and part-time people, and they came in, they sort and reload planes, and in 4 hours the planes are taken back off to their domicile, and then the cars are leaving, the place is empty again. But it always reminded me, when I see that movie, it reminded me of how that happened every night. It was just crazy. But they've got to move that product fast because every carrier is pretty much on a time constraint. The same with Tom Hanks' movie. Of course, it's FedEx. I shouldn't mention FedEx, but time. It's all about time to make those windows. And so handling packages, the better you can package it. And I'm anal about tape. I make sure my labels are taped on, and I use a thermal printer.
Oh, you tape your labels on even though you use a
Yes. I mean, I put tape on the top and bottom whether it's an envelope or a box, doesn't matter. Fragile stickers, even though most people don't pay attention to that. But you cannot.
People talk about fragile stickers. You would know because you're in the business, but they seem like if you put fragile on it, they handle it more roughly.
Well, and that's true because we see it. We've seen it so much. The one thing that always would stop us in the freight industry was tip and tails. And a tip and tail on the side of a pallet, say it's a mini fridge or something,
right?
And they had a little sand thing on the side of it, and if it got tipped and the sand went above the certain line, then the customer was either supposed to refuse it or open it to inspect it. And so those would get us because we had to watch for those. But fragile stickers or handle with care, every package seemed to have them. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, but when I go to my post office and I have my packages scanned by hand every day when I go in there, whether I take 5 or 100, I stand there until they scan them. I want to be protected.
Because the scan sheet doesn't necessarily work. At least for eBay, it doesn't work. I mean, they could scan and it doesn't scan individually, each individual package. So,
but I stay on
the USPS shipping. It gets there late. eBay won't stand behind the seller.
Right.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat, please. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat and hold a conversation with Bobby, and that's why I have my little run of show so I don't forget to ask things. But so I digress sometimes. So if you put a Q, it makes it easier for us to spot, and moderators to spot the question. Put a Q, capital Q before the question, a bunch of question marks. It makes it easier to spot the question. So if you have any questions for Bobby, we'll be sure to have Bobby answer them for you. Once you touch, again, I told you I want to go through your niches a little bit. Once you just touch on plush a little bit, you did mention one thing you sold for $150, which had a few dollars invested. Why don't you just touch on plush a little bit?
Plush is
basic information.
Not all plush are valuable. I mean, I've got a room full of them as well. The ones that I find that are the most valuable seem to be the ones that are Five Nights and Freddy's, the little cupcakes, the Golden Bear I sold for $164.99. Did not know it was that valuable, but now I look for Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. I'll be Mario, and I've got a Mario theme thing back here on my wall. Mm-hmm. They're not all plush; they're actually plastic. But Mario, Pokemon, any of that kind of stuff is going to be valuable to the extent you're probably going to get it at a yard sale for $0.25. But there are other ones. I've listed today a Build-A-Bear. Not all those are valuable. Again, you got to look them up. Gremlins, the little gizmo guy, not the talking like Furby, but there's a little gizmo that's just a plush.
I've never seen that before. Okay.
$25 if you find that thing. So you got to look up the plush. And Chris is probably the best at plush as far as YouTubers that I know. But if I do see him, I do look through them to see if there's anything.
Chris, 10K in the Bay?
Chris down in Louisiana.
Another Chris. There's like,
yeah.
I know there's so many resellers.
So that's Johnny. I'm trying to think of his name off the top of my head now. Somebody throw it out there. I know y'all know him. Then, like I said, video games. And, of course, that covers – we could be here all night on video games. Mary Kay, I just stumbled upon. I was at a yard sale, and the lady said – she was getting out of it, and I started looking up her stuff because she had it priced pretty high. And what I've learned through trial and error was I don't pick up lipsticks and eyeliners because they dry up, and I've had returns on those. But medium coverage, beige 300, bronze 409, all that kind of stuff, moisturizers, all those foundations, they sell fantastic. And if you can get them for $1 a piece or less, and they sell for $20, $30 a piece, I mean, and then on the Mary Kay, when Mary Kay was alive, they had pink caps on the like the medium coverage foundations. If it's a gray cap, it's more recent after Mary Kay passed away. Just little tidbits that you learn as a reseller when you comp things and you learn. But even if it's expired, if it's foundations or moisturizers, it's still going to be good. You want to stay away from the lipsticks and eyeliners, like I said.
I'm glad you brought that up because again, I don't wear makeup, so I wouldn't know. But that's.
I only wear it after the show when Angie's watching.
You don't wear it on YouTube though. You want to answer Angie's question? Can you see in the chat? Or you want me to read it to you? Says you work 7 days a week, but have you ever tried to do more 6 days a week and schedule those to post on your day off? So I guess what I'm talking about with running drafts, but taking a day off for your personal.
I list live. I mean, I'll take off when I need to go see grandkids, or like when I went on vacation to Hawaii. I'm going to Austin for Labor Day weekend to watch my Horns play their opening game. I mean, I take those days off, but I basically get up at, I go to bed at midnight. I get up at 6:37 in the morning. I watch a little bit of Johnny Cajun Roots Reseller show while I'm shipping and then I go to the post office early in the morning, come back, and I start listing. I try to get 10 listings out. And then on days I'm in a zone, I'll do 50 or 100. And I did 100 recently. I did 50 one day this week.
Awesome. Congratulations.
It's not, again, it's just, it depends on what you're listing. Obviously,
hard goods is different, but I'm sorry. 50,
video games,
100 items a day. I don't care if it's hard goods or not. That's impressive.
40 video games in 2 hours, I can throw them out there if they're all clean and ready to go. The research is what takes the most time to make sure you're scanning them and looking them up. But I typically take about a 30-minute nap early afternoon because I'm old. And then I get back up.
You get like 5 hours sleep a night. So God bless you.
Well, then I go back to the listing and then I'll take a break or go somewhere, go to the grocery. I mean, I still have to mow my yard, do my dishes, do my laundry. I've got a dog, so we got to take care of her and all that stuff. But I mean, I put in probably 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I ship 6 days a week. I can't stress enough. I know people that have 3-day shipping, and I ship every day because folks were competing with people like Amazon and other eBay resellers. And the one thing I get in my feedback, and you're always going to get a negative or a neutral, or you're not going to please everybody, but I let it bother me because I do ship fast. And my best part of my feedback is because I ship so fast.
Prompt shipping. Yep.
Yeah. And if you ship Saturday, there's a good chance that by Monday it could be in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania from Oklahoma. So always ship on Saturday if you can,
Yes.
but ship every day that you can because it's just providing good customer service. And when I was in transportation, I didn't always get to control that.
Right.
And now I do. It's my business. And, on returns and other things, there's going to be situations where if you worked at Walmart, you're going to have returns if you owned it. So you're going to have returns in your business too.
What's doing business, unfortunately. And
it is.
Aren't honest, and there's some people that are honest. And I talk about again. I'll go back to the jeans again. There's people they don't fit. Oh, it's not the right color. What? No, it didn't fit. I'm sorry. That's why you're returning it. Okay, it's cost of doing business.
But that's why I don't do free returns either because on clothing,
we all know with eBay, there's no such thing as not offering.
But I mean, you're going to pay me to bring it back.
But in theory.
Yeah, I'm not giving you back your shipping if you send it back. If it was my issue, I'm going to gladly give you your money back and eat it. But if I give you the armpit to the armpit of a shirt and the length and everything that's supposed to be in that listing, or in the jeans, for example, especially women's, the waist, the rise, the inseam, because just says 31 doesn't mean 31. Yep. Right. And if I give you all that information and I tell you, and I put in my heading, see notes, I want you to look down there and see those notes. And then if they don't fit you and you aren't the size you thought you were and you send them back, that's fine. I'll take them back because typically when you take something back that's good anyway, you're going to resell it pretty quickly anyway. Right. But you're going to lose your shipping on it as part of doing business.
Right. Once we approach Joe's question, the Philly picker, he says, Bobby, do you run auctions on anything? If you do, you start the auctions on a certain day of the week and time. You may have answered this. I just got back in the chat.
Good question. I do run auctions, but only on rare things that I don't know the true value or I think it's really valuable. And I found these rings, and I've had them for probably a year. This one sold today for $63. It's a garnet, 10-karat gold with PCSO in it. I talked to Lissa, who is a person that does YouTube with Farm Girl Scavenger Noel, and she's an expert in jewelry, and I'm not. And I bought 2 rings, and I put them both on auction, and I started them last Wednesday, and they ended this morning, and I probably could have got more had I put them on a weekend night to end. So that would be my negative, and I've got to learn to do a better job at that. But if it's something I'm not sure of, I will run an auction, or if it's something that I think I can get a lot of money for. But I start my auctions at the amount that I'm willing to accept, not at 99 cents.
I rarely run auctions, but I always do that. I always start them out at the minimum I'm willing to accept. And I make sure I have my shipping covered.
Right.
And again, remember, guys, and I say it all the time, I know I sound like a broken record sometimes, but remember, you're paying fees, commissions on your shipping. So make sure at least you break any, you have supplies, you have fees, et cetera, et cetera. So at least break even on your shipping.
Right. And and there are times I lose money on shipping, but there's times I make money. I mean, I use a lot of flat rate envelopes, padded flat rates, and A boxes through USPS. And A boxes I swear by because I can get a lot of stuff in an A box and make some money on the shipping if that's the case. But then there's times on Media Mail or something. I did one yesterday. I lost $1 because the book weighed more than I thought it did. But you're going to have those too. But remember, eBay gets their percentage of that shipping as well. So
that's why I bring that up with that, because some people, if you're shipping something that's like, $9, $10, if I'm shipping out a padded flat rate envelope, I'm paying $1 plus in commissions on that.
Right.
So Craig makes a good point. He says the problem is buyers don't read the description, which we all know. But the other tremendous point is he thinks the title and first picture sell the item. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. 100%, Craig. 100%. You're
keyword. Use the whole keyword line. It's got 80 characters. Use
first picture. Absolutely.
Yeah, and use the whole thing. I mean, the whole 80 characters that you've got to use on the title. Use that up, and as many things. If it's a Detroit Tiger hat, I'm putting Magnum PI and everything else in there to get them. Okay. I'm trying to find a way
to put it in the proper order too, and there's a way the eBay algorithm sources that. You want to make sure, like you put in, Detroit Tiger. I could be incorrect because you're the hat guy. Men's hat, and then you can put ball cap, trucker, blah 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 blah. But you want certain keywords in the very beginning.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert on anything. I mean, just because I'm the cap guy and I sell a lot of them doesn't mean I'm the know-it-all. There's people out there that know a lot of more than I do on different things. Mm-hmm. I do know a lot about picking, and I know a lot about things through trial and error. I take a lot of chances. I recently went to probably the best estate sale where I got this cap, and the guy was an NBC executive, and he had all kinds of electronics. And a lot of it's phone testers and fluke instruments, and I knew nothing about any of it. He had an NBC chime, and if you go back and watch my solds, it was if you remember in the old days, it used to go ding, 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 NBC. Exactly. And I passed it a couple of times, and the guys, and I saw
it. It's one of his things. I just did the ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I thought it was a kid's toy. So when I heard the lady say my husband was the engineering guy for the local NBC affiliate here in Oklahoma City, I said, oh, really? So I walk over. It didn't have the mallet with it, but I looked it up, and it had a peacock on it. Okay. It was 50 cents. I picked it up, got it home.
Must be worth a fortune.
$99 I sold it for without the mallet.
I believe it. Now, maybe somebody that worked for NBC back in the day or still works for NBC,
I mean, this guy had punch-out sets. He had Fluke electronics tools. And I was
heard
paying
of Fluke back in the day, and I bring up Casey all the time when he's the one, Fluke. I don't know anything about Fluke. But Fluke is the brand.
It was so good the next day. I spent $154 over 2 days and filled my car up twice. The first day I'd been there, I saw these, and I'm going to show you one of them in a second. It's a Michael Bedard lithograph. Had no clue what it was, and again, it was $4 a piece. These pictures are worth $50 to $750 a piece. They're from the 80s.
Michael Bedard.
And I'm going to show you I'm going to show you a couple of them.
Okay, guys. So again, we wanted to concentrate on the caps, and I keep coming back to the caps, but again. Bobby is willing to share his time with us, and I always tell you guys, time is your most valuable asset. So, we're here to learn. So, I want Bobby to share as much as he can, and we're fortunate to have Bobby on, and hopefully, I can book Bobby in the future, and we'll come back on again. So, he's going to pick up what he's doing here. While we got a little break in the action, I guess I should probably show myself because I'm talking, right? So, couple things, guys. So we're waiting for Bobby to come back. I tell you guys I'm not monetized, so there's costs involved. And in fact, I finally spent the money. I purchased a new monitor. It's supposed to arrive by Friday. I told you guys I bought a new PC so I can stream with a regular camera. So I broke down and I spent the money for a new monitor. So again, I have, if you're getting any kind of value of it, again, don't forget to subscribe, click all notifications. If you click the thumbs up, it helps promote my channel. If you leave a comment, it helps promote the channel. I have PayPal. I have Buy Me a Coffee, and Randy, my moderator, is generous enough that Randy has a great online store where he sells coffee, spices, candies, snacks, etc. And Randy messaged me. He says, you have Buy Me a Coffee. How about somebody can buy themselves cups of coffee? So again, guys, when you register on Randy's site, if you're going to buy something from Randy, if you put AE after your name when you're registering on Randy's site, Randy's been very generous. He's going to offer to pay me a commission at no cost to you. So, guys, if you want to buy some, old-fashioned candy or coffee, whatever from Randy, it helps me. It helps Randy. It helps the channel. So, Enough said. We'll get back to Bobby, and we'll see what Bobby has to share.
All right. So again, the first day I pass these up, I see them, I look at them, I think, what do I want a bunch of duck prints? I got no room on my walls to collect this stuff. So I grabbed the second day, I just looked one up, and it says Bedard down here, and it's situation comedy. And you can see there's a duck watching an old-fashioned TV on the planet Earth with, like Earth's flying, right? And I decided to look them up because nobody had picked them up. And I've got another one here that's a lot bigger, and this one's worth a lot more. But every one of them's different. One of them's the ducks in bed, and there you are. They're sitting on a hill looking out over the ocean, and this is a bigger picture.
So that's his gig, the ducks, then? They're stylistic cartoon
It's
ducks?
all ducks themed, and I had two of them. One was a duck surrounded by alligators. I think I sold that for $60, and I paid $4. The other one I think I sold for $50. I ran them on auction, so there you go.
Right.
And
again, do we? I don't think we addressed that. Is there any particular day that you run your auction?
Well, I should start them on weekends on weekend night, especially Sunday to end on Sunday night.
Had them on Sunday night, right?
But I didn't. When I'm listing, I just get in the mode and I grab stuff and I start listing it. And like the rings, I ended this morning, and I probably could have got more because I had multiple watchers.
Right.
But again, I paid $10 per ring, and I sold one for $53 and one for $63. So I was happy with that. But these, I ran on auction, and they ended, and out of the four, these two didn't sell. And I've got this one, I think, for like $50 or $60, and the other one I've got for $149. But there are sold comps on that picture for $100 or $750. So this person also had a poker set that I was not familiar with, and I asked the lady, the wife of the man that passed away. I said, "What is this?" And she said, "Oh, I bought it for him in Europe, but it's a European poker set. It was $2. So it's in a leather case," and I grabbed it.
European poker set is.
Yeah, I just grabbed it because it was $2. So I get it home, and there's a little case of cards and a leather thing. When I get it home and I start doing the research, it's Cartier of Paris.
La-di-da.
Yeah, they're listed on eBay for $2,500. I gave $2. The card set's worth $400, but I put them together and I ran them on an auction, and they got some watchers, but nobody bid on them. So now I have them on eBay for $1,299. Buy it now. And I paid.
You'll take $1,000, I'm sure.
I'll take $1,100
all day, every day.
They're Cartier of Paris. I mean, but it's just, that's what I'm saying. When you see stuff and it's cheap, vintage calculators, not just TI calculators, but the old HPs. I've picked them up not working for 50 cents and get them home and look them up and go, "Wow, that thing's worth $120. You get it working through the, because people, please take your batteries out of your stuff. You got to clean the corrosion and stuff, but
sure.
You got to learn to comp, and you got to learn to take chances, especially if the cost of goods is low and it's a unique item.
The cost of goods is low, you take a chance. I mean, some people they'll go out again. They're in different financial situations than some of us are. Some people will spend $1,500 or $1,000 or something, take a shot. I'm not in that situation to do that.
Right.
But I can pay $1, $2, $3, $5. I'm not going out and spending $1,200 where I know nothing about the stuff. I don't know if I'm going to sell or not.
I mean, again, that's what I do. I take a lot of chances, and if it's $2 and it isn't worth anything, you got $2 in it.
Absolutely.
But you got to take chances, and like I said, on those, nobody bought them the whole day. So the next day when I saw them, I just decided, well, go look one of them up, and I did, and that's when I about fell down and hurried up and got into my car before anybody else found out. So again, until they're sold, they're not valuable, but. I've sold two, and I've already made my money back plus some off the two I did sell. And again, I'm not greedy. I'll take a decent offer on them, but
right. So I just want a couple things real quick, guys. And again, I'm not chasing you away. We're gonna talk about a couple more things that I thought I had a hard stop with Bobby, but again, he's not having a show tonight with Angie. Angie wasn't feeling well. Again, I just want to remind you guys, or I should say, I haven't said it earlier today. Bobby's contact information is in the description below, his YouTube channel, his Instagram, and I believe one other thing I listed, and my brain is freezing here. I can't remember. But anyway, again, he runs his little game show, and we're going to get into his YouTube channel. And earlier, Angie asked about JT, so I guess I should have you address JT, the origin of JT, and why don't you tell us about your YouTube channel and about JT and where that all came about.
Well, I started the YouTube channel. I started it, I guess, about November of 2019. And started out with just me, and it was horrible. If you go back to my beginning video, not that they've improved a ton, but my channel is a little different than a lot of them, and I'm trying to be different than a lot of other channels in that I share with you on my channel everything that I buy and sell. And I go through what I paid for, where I got it, what I sold it for, what I made in profit on every item, not just the highlights. I want you to see the good and the bad. I don't pick up Beanie Babies or ties anymore, although I did sell a couple of ties recently for some good money.
But Funko Pops, though?
Yeah, Funko Pops. I'll pay anything that makes money, 4,300 items, obviously.
Like you said, the cost acquisition is right?
But, I would bring in little things to kind of make it funny. And one day I found JT in a Goodwill. And I picked him up, and my grandson absconded him pretty quickly. And then when I decided to start the channel to try to change it up, I asked him if I could have it back, and he gave him back, and he kind of took off. And we shoot from the hip. We don't play and edit and all stuff. I will write a little skit in about 2 minutes, and just, from the hip we talk, but we'll write songs in about 2 minutes, and we sing. And I've done Chris Farley and John Belushi. I'm not ashamed to do anything. I want you to laugh and put a smile on your face, and then I get into what I bought and sold and try to teach, because that's what I'm here for. It took me about 16 months to get monetized, to get to 1,000, and that was
actually.
It was just a goal. It wasn't, because of the money. Because believe me, folks, the money's not very much.
Not the access, not any advertising. You don't get
much. But it's. I enjoy doing them. I wished I had more views. Obviously, there's times I get 150 views, and there's times I get 70 views on a video. But I'm just trying to teach and make you laugh a little bit, and maybe make you smile. And JT's a big part of it. And we've done some things with aliens and Alf. And the last one I did, he got scared at the end of the video because I bought this guy, and he freaked out because I brought him in the house.
Oh,
and yeah, he hit on me last night. I think he was under my bed most of the night. And then JT finally came out because, he's staying out of here. He don't want to be around this guy Pennywise. So we just have fun with it. And again, it was a goal, and that was all it was. It's like you got to have goals in everything you do. And I had a goal to see if I could hit 1K, and it took me a long time. There were many times I almost quit and just thought, nobody cares.
It isn't easy, and eBay definitely isn't easy. You got to work at it.
That's right. But a lot of people supported me and said, keep it up. So I did. And
what does JT stand for? How did you come up with the name JT?
When you're from the South, JT. It's like my name is Bobby Wayne.
So explain to
I know. I'm Bobby Wayne, and JT is just, it could have been Bubba or.
Were you BW, or is it?
No, my best friend growing up was JT, and he was just country Texas. And so I just named him JT. Okay. And it's funny because
your best friend, you're in honor of him, you named him JT.
Yeah, but it was just more because it's kind of a southern kind of.
Is that kind of like a nickname?
Yeah, we'll use things like y'all and fib and which in fib in the South is telling us.
I was watching the Swamp People, and the guy was calling his assistant that was helping him, when the boat was going Shay. It's like, he goes, why are you calling me Shay? Well, that's what I call ladies. I call them Shay. It's like, okay, whatever.
When you live in different parts of the country, as I have,
from New Orleans,
I lived in Southeast Texas for 4 years, and there's a lot of Cajuns there. Fell in love with it, but when you had to listen when they talk, because they do say a lot of things like that are different than what you're used to. So, I was born in a hospital. We were pretty poor as a child. I was born in Wichita, Kansas. And I was born in a hospital that was a Salvation Army run hospital. So when I found JT, I always say that we're both thrift store kids.
Okay.
Goodwill and Salvation Army. So that's that. We weren't on discount day though. We had to pay full price.
You had to pay full price for you.
But we just have fun with it, like I said, and it is what it is.
Yes, you do that, your show where you have your little game show. You do that every other Wednesday normally, and you're Angie
resells and I rotate
Eastern on Wednesday evening.
Yeah, we rotate, and then I do my videos during the week, and typically my videos come out in the morning pretty early.
Right.
And it's not due to any algorithm. It's just when I get up and get around to putting out a video. I don't edit my videos and spend 4 or 5 hours on a video. I just throw it all together and shoot it out there. But like today, when I didn't do a video, I found I got more done because I wasn't working on a video. So there are pros and cons to doing YouTube and doing videos, but like I said, I enjoy it or I wouldn't do it.
Well, you enjoy it, and you're giving back to the community. And like I said, you've learned from other resellers, and you're trying to give back to the community, which is honorable. Absolutely.
And I do have an Instagram. It's the CapGuy_Oklahoma if you want to reach me there.
That's in the description below, right? So,
and then I have a TikTok, but don't go there because I dance on that one. So,
oh no, you better not go to the TikTok.
I do have clothes on though.
Well, that's good. So, guys, we're just going to, like I say, we'll just wrap up. Are there any additional last minute questions? We'll ask Bobby while we have him here. And again, I would love to have Bobby on again in the future, maybe in a few months. And again, all his contact information is in the video description below. His YouTube channel, his Instagram. Bobby's very helpful. So if you have a question about caps or whatever, or reselling in general, Bobby's very good about getting back to you when you contact him on his Instagram. So that's one way to look at it. So, Sharon or Randy, did I miss any of the questions in the chat while I was discussing things with Bobby? Did I miss anything? Why don't you guys make a note of it if I did? So again, guys, every Wednesday at typically at 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, we moved it up a little bit, but Bobby was gracious enough to be here, and his show is not going on tonight, but typically is at 7 p.m. Central or 8 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday evening, and it rotates between his and Angie's channel. So, and
next Wednesday I'll be on my channel at 7 Central. And I'm doing a giveaway just to do it. I'm giving away 3 concert T-shirts that I've come across. One is Rascal Flatts. One is Huey Lewis in the News from 2004, and a Paul McCartney shirt. Awesome. Two of them are new, and one of them is used, but they're all from the early 2000s. And I'm just going to give those away. And you just have to be in the chat. You don't have to do anything special. Just be there that night, and I'm going to give them away to somebody in the chat, different people, and you'll get to pick which one you want. And there'll be different sizes, of course. But we're going to have fun with it. And like I said, we like to do a game show, and we'll take 3 items, and I'll show them to you, and I'll say, which one of these sold for more? And you get to guess. It's not a competition. It's just having fun, and maybe you can learn something too. And it'd be a lot of diverse items. Angie will then show 3 items. We'll do about 4 rounds, and then we invite the guests to come on and show some of their items if they'd like to, and do the same thing. Because on our channel, we like to have people participate in the chat. You're there to watch, not just watch me and you talk. You're there to participate, and that's what I want to do. And Luis is in the chat, and Luis and Louie recently had their on Mindful Merchants, had me on theirs as a fill-in for somebody, and I appreciate them as well.
Okay, guys. So again, definitely check out Bobby's channel. And again, it's in the link in the description below. Again, I'm live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you again next Wednesday. If you're not subscribed, remember to subscribe and click that notification bell and hit the like button on your way out. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Thank you.